thought I'd show you through what I eat in a day as a flexitarian. If you've watched my video already, I have become flexitarian, which is where you don't eat any animal products during the week, a kind of vegan vegetarian week, and then on the weekend or 2 days a week when you like to do it, the weekend works for me though, you can eat some animal products such as fish, meat, eggs, cheese, all that jazz. So I thought I'd kind of show you what I eat on a flexitarian midweek, so a vegetarian vegan day. So I'm actually gonna have a completely vegan day. I tend to do completely vegan. Sometimes I have eggs. I've never been into milk or cheese. When I was little, my mum used to put so much Nesquik in my milk to make me drink it, because I think there was such a big campaign when I was growing up on like drink your milk for your calcium. But I always hated milk and I never ate cheese. And it was quite difficult actually being a child not liking these things, so that's quite easy for me to eradicate from my diet because I don't enjoy it. And if you're worried about my calcium, I get it from lots of green leafy vegetables that I try and kind of put in most of my food. So I thought I'd show you a classic breakfast, lunch and dinner that I eat as a flexitarian, and kind of just why I'm doing it, how it's going, why I'm enjoying it. So let's get started. So for breakfast, I'm just going to make a smoothie. I've got this really yummy milk that I've been getting from Planet Organic, which is oat milk. It's like an unsweetened oat milk, really delicious. I also get that almond milk. And I'm just going to mix that with some protein powder, like a vegan plant-based protein powder, and some berries.
Your tongue somewhere, don't know what to say. Stop and run around, oh you act like a kid.
So I've just finished my breakfast and I've just made a peppermint and licorice tea, which I've probably banged on about 1,000,000 times. So it's my favourite tea, really good for curbing cravings, just so like lovely and delicious like to drink. I'll try and have like a few cups of tea and water. I've actually just downloaded this water app, which I'll set little reminders. I think there are 10, 2 and 5 throughout the day to kind of remind me to drink water. So they just like ping up on my phone and it will just prompt me to like get a glass of water or make a herbal tea just to kind of up my hydration. It's really important to be remembering to balance your plate. So I often try and put the protein powder in the morning just to kind of boost my protein levels. Obviously you can get protein from so many different plant foods, but I'll try and include things like lentils, chickpeas, brown rice, quinoa, you know, even there's small amounts of protein found in like fruits and vegetables as well. Throughout the day, as well as adding like nuts and seeds on top just to kind of boost these things. So for lunch, I'm going to have a butternut squash soup, which has got coconut milk in there. It's also got some like chili flakes, some coconut yogurt swirled through, and then just serving it with a little bit of sourdough bread. And because it's kind of cold at the moment, I'm making these kind of wintry dishes, which I'll make a big batch and then I'll freeze it for those times when I just like can't be bothered to cook and I just want to get it out of the freezer. I feel like a soup is such a good thing for those sorts of stuff. And I'll put the recipe down below so you guys can enjoy that soup, because it's just beautiful, really simple, easy. Squashes are in season at the moment, and actually you can get different types of squash all year round. I do love like a spaghetti squash. If you guys live in America, I feel like they're really common there. They're not as common in the UK, or at least I don't seem to be able to find them. You've got to go to farmers markets to get them. And they're so cool because you open them up and they're literally like spaghetti comes out of them. I just think they're absolutely fantastic. For the rest of the day, I'm just going to be working on my computer. I've just got like lots of emails and everything to get through. So I've just started a plant wall on my wall over here, which is making me so happy. I got lots of plants from Patch. So these little things are from Truva. This is from Mason de Mondo, and then all these plants and the plant pots are from Patch, and then they just go above my desk, so it makes working super fun. So I've been feeling really good on the whole flexitarian lifestyle. If you were to ask me, say, 5 years ago that I would ever do this. I'd be like, absolutely not. I used to eat meat or fish with every single meal, and I still love meat and fish so much. Oh my god, if I could, I would definitely eat it. But I think just from learning about the environmental impacts of just mass production of eating animal products and fish, the environmental consequences just are quite jaw-dropping and quite scary, and I think that we can all make a big change. Sometimes you think you're really small and like what you do to the world doesn't make any difference, but actually I really think that like if you make a change and I make a change and then your friend and your sister, it all kind of has a domino effect, and we can all kind of make a really positive change towards eating more plant-based. And there's a really cool TED talk all about if everyone went flexitarian, which I'll link also down below, which is really worth reading. It kind of like inspires you on it. So if you want to go flexitarian, I would say pick your 2 days that you're going to eat animal products on. I try and choose the weekend because it's a bit more social, so if I go to a friend's house and they've made a big roast or anything, I can be a bit more flexible, and I find that kind of Monday to Friday I'm a little bit more in control of what I'm eating, in terms of like I'm eating at home a little bit more, although work events often do take me out. But I do find that on the whole I'm very lucky that places I go do have vegetarian and vegan options. However, if you're someone that doesn't have that at work, or you travel a lot, you probably need to prep ahead. So I like to use Sunday as a really good prep day. So I maybe cook up a batch of brown rice, some quinoa, some roasted vegetables. You could do a lentil soup, just kind of get a really nice kind of variety of plant-based foods. I think it's also good to kind of get a really good variety of plant species on the whole. So one day have oats for breakfast, one day have a smoothie with like pea protein powder, instead of having the same thing every day, which I know can be really so much easier, just trying to get that variety in. However though, if you do have the same thing for breakfast every day, try and make it like porridge, but that has chia seeds, flax seeds, nuts, seeds, fruit all in. So at least even though you're eating the same thing every day, there's tons of variety all in one go. That's something that I often make for Shay, is like a big thing of muesli, and I put in oats, flax seeds, chia seeds. What else do I put in? A little bit of bee pollen for a bit of sweetness, and some freeze-dried raspberries, and then you can just mix that with a bit of milk and fruit in the morning. So really, really easy. For lunches and dinners, I try and look at my plate and put like a quarter of it being a plant-based protein, so that can be lentils, chickpeas, tofu, quinoa, and then a quarter being more kind of carbohydrates, so sweet potatoes, rice, bread, and then the rest as like vegetables, and then putting a bit of fat on top, so whether that's a bit of avocado, some cold pressed olive oil, some nuts and seeds. And that kind of is a really good way of looking at your plate. I know sometimes it's not going to be like that and it's just going to be a big bowl of pasta with a bit of tomato sauce on it, but on the whole, if you can and you have a bit of time, this will balance your plate out, it will balance your energy levels, it will stop you from craving things, and it will also nourish your body to the max. And that's what we want it to be to the max. So I think it's quite good to kind of think of your plate like that. For dinner, I am making ahead of time roasted cauliflower with lentils and a sun-dried tomato dressing. So this is a really yummy, easy dressing. Just get a jar of sun-dried tomatoes, blend it with cayenne, with smoked paprika, with a little bit of tomato puree, and then you just serve this with roasted cauliflower. I put the leaves in there as well because we want to reduce our food waste too, and the leaves are delicious roasted, so chuck them in there when you're roasting them in the oven. And then I've just got a can of lentils that I've rinsed off and I've mixed it through. Now of course you can make your lentils from scratch, however I really like canned lentils because they're already cooked through, they're really simple, they take one step out of cooking that I love just to make things really easy. They're quite delicious, they're quite tender, and they soak in lots of flavour. So always put tons of salt and flavour with your lentils, otherwise they can be a bit boring, I know. Things that I've noticed since being a flexitarian would be that I have to be quite mindful of my digestion. So I'm not that good on like lots of beans and lentils and chickpeas. I love them, they're so delicious, but I can't overeat on them. So I tend to do like a plant-based protein powder in the morning to make sure I've got extra protein, and sometimes I'll add in some eggs as well. And then I'll have small amounts of kind of the beans and legumes and stuff, and then more of the light brown rice quinoa. That seems to work best for my body, and I think that's the thing to remember when you're changing up your diet or you're becoming a little bit more plant-based, is to really understand what works for your body, because it might be that you thrive on chickpeas, but actually when you eat tofu you don't feel that good. So constantly be a detective, figure out what works for you, keep assessing yourself, keep making sure that you're really boosting yourself with goodness. And I actually created a vegan meal plan ebook that has like a 4-week vegan meal plan with like all the supplements you're going to take. So if you want to go a step further and go vegan, this is a really good framework for you, because it tells you what you need to supplement with, what nutrients you need to watch out, and it tells you some of the nutrients you might be lacking in from a vegan diet. So it's just really good if you're someone that's not totally sure of how you should balance your plate. I'd really recommend having a read through that. It will just kind of give you a bit of a deeper understanding and more education into kind of living a really healthy vegan lifestyle. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've liked seeing what I eat in a day when I'm flexitarian. On the weekends, obviously I tend to mix it up. I had this weekend like a chicken curry, and I had a little bit of fish, and that was it. Really, I actually ended up eating quite vegan, vegetarian, all the other meals, because that's what felt right for me. I think everything's intuitive. It's just about trying to reduce a little bit of your meat consumption and animal consumption. I do think we're all gonna make this world a better place.